Hi there, Paul Thompson here from Spitfire Audio. I'm very excited today to bring you the Albions Orchestral Selects. This is some of our favourite orchestral patches, some of the most beautiful sounds from each library that we've recorded at Air Studios in Lyndhurst Hall. So they all blend together. The sound world matches absolutely fabulously. And of course, it also matches to our Spitfire Symphony Orchestra library as well. So let's jump straight in and I'll show you some of my favourites. Just gorgeous. These are a few sounds in what we've called the intimate strings full. So they're full keyboard patches, and this intimate strings really refers to the size of the section. So we have two different definitions here. We've got epic sections and intimate sections. The intimate sections are the smaller ones, and the epic sections will tend to be more symphonic sized. So these are all from Albion Neo. Now, if we go to the epic strings full, first of all, before we start diving into the highs and lows, these are, again, the sounds that are mapped over the whole keyboard. Now, of course, one great way to play two-handed and still retain control over the dynamic, over the mod wheel, is to use an expression pedal mapped to that. Personally, I tend to just either, if I'm just improvising, I'm just busking parts in. I'll go back later and separate them out. But occasionally, if I do want to use the ensemble patches in the finished production, I will usually play a high part, the mid part, and then the low part, so that I can keep really detailed control. I find that I control them slightly better with my hands than with my feet. So that's my preference. But there's lots of different ways to remap. As you can see, if I control click on here, you can see that you can assign any CC automation to that, and then that captures the way that you play the dynamics. Great col legno there. These sounds are from Albion 1, as you can hear. There's a great full pizzicato sound. It's lovely. It's just got that right amount of kind of cheekiness, but also power. You know, a nice, strong, firm, full-bodied pluck when you play high dynamic. And then, of course, the spiccato. It's got a nice wide dynamic range, but it's nice and solid throughout the range. So you always get a really clear, nice, punchy, solid sound, even at the quieter dynamics. So it really reacts well to the velocity that you're playing with. So diving into the epic strings high, again, this is larger string sections. So here's one of my favorite patches from Tundra. As you can hear, it's really that beautiful combination. It's just played on the edge, where you're just getting the strings vibrating, and you can hear that there's a dynamic in here. We briefed the players to play literally as quiet as possible, making a sound, but also we got a slightly louder version, so it might be kind of MP, or we sometimes use a distinction MP/MF, which is there does seem to be a layer in between those two. It's more a kind of state of mind, but you do have dynamic control over some of these really beautiful soft patches. So this is that most delicate of pizzicatos. Again, you can hear that there's a dynamic control, but this is all really focused on the quietest end. And it's getting that kind of, it's almost like a kind of, it's not a definite pluck, it's more a kind of brushing of the string. It creates this kind of looser, slightly cloud-like quality, which is really, really beautiful. This one, when you put a nice long reverb on it as well, and you just get that lovely little scatter, and it goes, sounds beautiful. Magical, absolutely magical. A consortino flautando. So with the faster, more flute-like bow, and with the mutes attached, it's just gorgeous. Again, super quiet. Now let's just jump back to Albion. This is from the Albion Legacy. I've always loved this. There's something that you get from having the instruments playing at the same time, but getting that octave interval. That somehow it doesn't ever reproduce. I don't feel like it reproduces completely accurately when you do it just playing it in. And this one does have a really lovely kind of dolce, a sweet quality to it. I'll just play the consorts and then we'll jump over. I want to play the legato of this. Oh, it's absolutely gorgeous. We'll move to legatos next, just to show you very quickly there's some fabulous effects in here. As you can hear, they're dynamically controllable as well. And so on. Tons and tons of really wonderful stuff. Let's just pop over to the legatos. And of course, this is from Albion 1. So these are different long notes to the ones that you had in the Albion Legacy patch just then, which gives you just extra, it's just more different stuff to play with. But also, while we're here, I might as well play the other two strings patches. Gorgeous. And the low, which in this case comes from Iceni. And as you can hear, it reacts really well to your playing speed. So the slower melodies that you're playing, you get slightly slower, more transition time, if you like, between the notes. And then when you're playing faster, it shortens that transition time, so it's slightly more responsive. And you get that kind of effect of a faster transition, a faster movement to the next note by the players. Going to our epic strings low. Let's pop some extra mics on to get the full effect. And just while we're here, you can hear there the difference in the mic. So the close mic on its own. I'll pull that down a tiny bit. The tree mic. Ambience, outriggers. You can hear there that you get a really a widening of the stereo field when you put the outriggers out. They really do pick up and exaggerate the position of the instruments. Obviously, in this case, you've got the cellos over there on the right hand side, and it just widens that stereo field. So when you combine these mics, the tree is giving you the overall sense of space front to back, and then the outriggers are giving you that extra width. So a lovely rich sound from the original Albion Legacy there. Now from Iceni we have these great punchy shorts. And the corresponding longs. So they do have some dynamic, even though they're really designed for that kind of nice kind of full sound. They do have a great amount of dynamic control in as well. And then we have some matching sounds from the high epic strings, again from Tundra. There's something, I know it's really unorthodox, but there is something wonderful about that kind of close harmony with the low strings when they're playing very, very softly. Really, really lovely. You can hear that kind of edgy, almost slightly kind of Sol Ponte sort of thing going on there. Now there's a few selections from the original Albion 2, Albion Loegria. These lovely soft col legnos. That's so great. Still one of my favourite consorts that we've ever recorded, and again a lovely small section. I'm not going to play through every single patch because there's a lot of stuff in here, but again you've got the matching sounds from the low. So there's a couple of nice sounds for intimate brass, a smaller brass section across the whole keyboard. Sounds like this. Really lovely. And if we go to the intimate woodwinds, again from Neo. Gorgeous stuff. And on the epic brass side, so larger brass sections, we've got a couple of patches from One. A couple of patches from Tundra. So a nice wide dynamic range there. And in the long, and here you've got that fantastic, almost slightly nasal, hollow sound. Just again, a different and unique sound to add to the overall colour palette. We've tried to pick really complementary patches across the whole range so that you've got lots and lots of different sound colours to play with. And on the low, we've got the matching patches to the high. But also because Iceni focuses on the low end, you've got these extra bits here. Yeah. And then from Tundra, the shorts. Ooh, and this flutter patch. Great stuff. We've got the woodwinds, the epic high. So again, pop a few mics up for fun. We've got the shorts from the original Albion, which again is one of my favourite sounds we've ever recorded. Corresponding longs. The Tundra shorts. Lovely, super air patch. We've got an overblow as well, which will take your head off. Oh, superb. And then the multiphonics, which takes this to the next level. So you thought that was a little bit edgy. How about this? Last but not least, the percussion. So we've taken our absolute favourites from across the ranges and put them in here. We've mapped up what we think are the most useful initial sounds, but when you click on the individual instruments here, you'll see that for each section you've got tons and tons of stuff. You can assign them incredibly easily to make your own key switch patches and of course mix per sound here. So as you can see, the symbol that's mapped is on A4. For the taikos, F4 and G4 for the drum and the stick. And then a ton of stuff from the Darwins, the fine drums and the XXL kit. So I'll just give you a quick blast across the keyboard. So a ton of absolutely epic sounds in there. As you can see, you can set it up exactly how you want it. You can make your own keyboard layouts very, very easily and save them down. And there's lots of control in there. You can control, of course, the mic signals as well. So there you go, some of my favourite sounds from across the Albions, our orchestral selects. Hope you've enjoyed this brief walkthrough. This is a really great way to get a very wide variety of sounds from the orchestra across those different sort of stylistic interpretations. So for anything that you choose, like your low strings, for example, you've got lots of different sounds to access, which will give you much more control over your colour that you're using in your track. I hope this is going to prove really, really useful to people, and we can't wait to see what you start writing with it. So thank you very much for watching. I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Bye-bye.